right, so where we left off in the interview, you guys kind of took a break for a little bit, right?
Yes.
Okay. And when you come back, there's some further discussion about some basic farming and then details of the weekend of April 25th, 2021. Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We'll continue to play that, Your Honor. Can we just ask, Your Honor, if it's too loud or if there's an issue with that thing up there? Too loud?
Turn it down.
Okay.
Where do you live? Right near East Lansing?
Yeah.
Is that-
Yeah, it's fine.
Your Honor, is it appropriate to ask the jury if this is better than before when they were trying to listen or worse? Because the speaker was supposed to make it better, but we just want to make sure it didn't make it worse.
It's better. Yeah.
Better?
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Okay. Thank you.
I was school. Oh, yeah. Just about time. So DCL used to be for Americans now. Oh, yeah. And they did the great there in the school. So Michigan State had law school, so they had sort of a professional relationship for a while. And then basically Michigan State was working and he became Michigan State law school.
Oh.
So I was I actually working in Washington and I was supposed to stay there and go to school. I said, if you're law school, try to get fit. I gave a weekend times. Didn't want to be in the fishbowl. Didn't have to stay there. I was going to
I think little chunks.
it was in the 80s. I mean, I was pretty experience. And, I don't know what that was like. The 80s, except for we knew that. I had to get it in. I ran out. So I'm driving out here this morning and listening to the tape, right? And like everybody, I'm kind of excited about the Lions and what's going on and everything, you know. But I actually remember the Lions used to be sort of good back in the late 80s or the 90s. My dad was way fast station. We were really good friends.
Oh, yeah.
And so we used to spend a lot of time with the Lions games. And then after that, the middle school for over 30 years. And I went to the national championship game in 1991. They lost to the Redskins. The Redskins ended up coming to Margaret in the Super Bowl. It was the last time the Lions were in.
Last time I went to playoff game in 91.
Yeah, they beat the Cowboys at Silver Knights at that game. A couple of years after that, maybe 92, 93, they were in the playoffs against Green Bay and Sterling Sharp. And had very first play for the scrimmage, Brent Burns, Sterling Sharp. And a long bound when it lost. It was like literally the first play. And I don't know. They went to maybe the playoffs one more time after that until 2016.
Right.
They were just so bad for so many years.
I still found myself Sunday watching. They're gonna, they're done. See, same old Lions, and they came through. So
Also, those guys are casting out Raiders. The Lions could win a playoff game for the first time in my life. Like, you aren't old enough to remember that. Yeah, I don't know that.
If I could ask you a generic farming question, could you, in 30 seconds if possible, describe like the seasons of a farmer? So winter, spring, summer, what are you doing through those seasons?
I asked him the same question. Right now, we're still, marketing our crop for this year.
When you say marketing, you include selling?
Yeah, marketing.
Okay.
Selling. I'm looking at purchasing the inputs, farms, chemicals, and fertilizer and seed for next year.
Okay.
We're getting machinery in and getting it retooled, redone for next year. We'll be taking, as we're going through here in February, we'll be getting orders of hopefully what application jobs we're looking for something else, or what their needs are going to be, so we're in the building. Our seed corn will be coming, they call it here, they want to bring seed, I'm like, I don't see it yet. We'll wait till the first year to start bringing the seed in, we'll start putting it in the door.
Okay.
And they'll start bringing out soybean seed, and put it in their own tanks. Basically, we're getting machinery around up until February, March.
And what happens in February, March this year?
March is, depends on what Mother Nature does. With March, will be the time that you start putting some magazine, or you'll be putting in some fertilizer. You'll be fertilizer to dries. Depends on what crops you're doing. We got rid of some wheat.
What does that mean?
Put fertilizer in wheat. You got wheat. Winter wheat was planted, here a month or two ago.
Okay.
We got put the fertilizer on it. We'll put it on once a year. While the wheat's still dormant, it doesn't come out of dormancy until the water starts warming up.
Okay.
The yard starts getting wheat's coming out of dormancy.
Okay.
So we get the fertilizer on it, so when it comes out of dormancy, fertilizers have the nitrogen, everything's got nitrogen for wheat. So it's already to grow. We scout for weeds and bugs. Your first application, we use spray 4 times. So you'll be out there, you put your fertilizer on the first application, like February, March. Second application, you'd be out putting more fertilizer on, and probably an insecticide, or herbicide. The third one would be doing for fungus, and the fourth one would be for fungus and insects. And we end up in probably May will be your last application, unless you get. It depends on if you get a lot of moisture, fungus will grow, for molds and stuff, you'll have to spray for mold in the weed. If you get some weevils or different insects will come in, you can spray for those. And so you go through fertility equipment, snap all up, make a mess. Put on fertilizer then, for seed, plant your seed with planters, you can pour fertilizer. Then you're going to go out and spray an application of Roundup. So post-emergent spraying, there's going to be like atrazine, metabotor, which is something that's all keeps the weeds from coming up. You go back out again. July, middle of June, top dress, which is more fertilizer for the corn. You're looking for insects and things you got to spray. You get towards the middle to the end of July, you get close to tassel where it's going to be cloudy. We got a thing that we call soot, black soot. There's different diseases that are coming up with corn right now. We're out spraying with everything to stop the black smut and stuff that comes in. Start your hard cycle of beans, you scout the beans, so they fly. We're getting Chinese beetles and different insects, spraying that never ends.
You just keep track of all the stuff in your head. You're a schedule, phone schedule, everything.
A lot of it's in my head, by the seasons. Your body knows when this is coming, or having the weather.
That's what I was gonna say, the weather, you can't predict, it's been recently warm, and so coming up right now, not that things would be planning.
Yes, I've done this my whole life, so it's just.
You use the buffer zone?
It's hard to find them anymore. It's hard to get them anymore. But there's a lot of truth to it. Grandpa always say that, frogs croak so many times before a hard frost. There's so many different sayings. The locust, here, it sounds like the frogs at night. You hear all the locusts chirping. So many times they chirp at night, you're going to get frost. So many times they chirp at night, it's going to rain. These guys had shit down. And then different ones, with the cattle, if you deworm cattle, you cut their horns off, otherwise, they'll gore each other when they get older and bigger. There's sayings out that you don't want to deworm cattle after half moon, you want to do it after full moon, they'll bleed less. Something's true. If you deworm them and bleeding, you want to ruin the blood straight everywhere, because arteries are right up there. Next time you do it, after full moon, you're bleeding a lot. There's some truth to this.
It affects the tides, so I don't know what
There's so many
I don't know.
but there's so many things. There's so many things that there's so many things that
He's in charge of something, so yeah,
there's so many things that I would remember to tell you because it's all like second nature now. I mean, it just
yeah.
I say go plant corn. Well, I already know where all of it is. You're gonna go there's things that's my son and stuff. And you tell me everything, assuming that I know what you're talking about.
And outside of your, when I say your farming, I'm referring to the land that you own. When it comes to, please correct me if my vernacular is going to be wrong. When it comes to lands you were contracted to spray or fertilize, do you have a formal schedule for that, or how does that work? So let's say I own 100 acres and I'm going to hire you to spray. Do you schedule a specific day with me, or how does that work?
You're going to call me and say, I've got 100 acres of corn, I want you to spray. I'm going to ask you, when did you plant it? How big is the corn now? What fertilizer do you have on it? What do you have on it? Do you have any chemicals? Have you done anything? Did you till it? Or is it no till means you just don't plant it and till the ground, so you didn't kill any weeds or string in the ground? I'll ask you those questions, and then I'm going to come out and look at it. Okay, you planted it the other day, so I know you planted it on Monday. Well, we have got 2 weeks before I really got to be concerned about it. Things will be good, so I run over it and pop back up. So this is all you run over instead. So I'm going to come out and look at it, and I'm going to ask you what weeds you have. Do you have thistles? Do you have broadleaf weeds? Grasses? So I know what chemistry I have to use to keep it clean. And if you plant around ready for it, you kind of Liberty Link. Do you have
Those brands, or what is that?
that's resistance to different herbicides?
Okay.
Round ready, it's where Liberty Link will be used. Spray Liberty, and it won't kill it. There's different ones. There's a BT, or more resistant, or bugs usually die. There's a rootworm resistant, maybe you need to put like chlorophos on or something for insecticides. And you're going to answer all those questions. I'm going to go on, look at it, and go, okay, it's decent. This is what we're going to use. And I'm going to come back and spray it. And it's going to be determined by, if we had rain today, I'm not going to go out there tomorrow because I'm not going to sink in and mud your field up. The way it was dry. Schedule by. If they're calling for rain tomorrow, well, no, I don't want to spray it tomorrow because the stuff will spray takes 4 hours. It's got to be on the plant or be there 4 hours before it's almost spraying. It's rain an hour later, well, we just wasted $30 or $40 an acre. So after we trim all that out, you got to make sure the wind can't blow if you're in a subdivision. I don't want the stuff blowing over on the neighbors, killing the grass. If the kids are out there, they're going to be turning in and I'm drifting on them. So, I mean, as far as we schedule, I'm going to be there Monday to spray at 9 o'clock. I don't have it. So it's going to be when the weather's right. We have faith in you that
Within a window of the appropriate time for that plant, essentially, right? Okay. You look at it, you have 5 days, you're going to be there within that 5-day period. But it's never, I'm going to be here this morning or that morning.
Right. Okay. You're going to be there when, I mean, there's mornings when it's real calm out and there's no wind. Great, let's go spray. And there's days that it doesn't stop blowing. You can't spray it off. You have the competition on spraying still.
And is what you just described as far as your scheduling, so is that Dale or the kind of the generic farmer? We'll say, is it kind of everyone operate that way, or is that just
Everyone should, but everyone don't.
I mean, as far as scheduling, is that?
Well, if you go to the friends of the world, they're going to schedule. We're going to be at your farm on Monday. You don't know what time. They're going to be there Monday. They're going to be Tuesday. And what they're going to do for wind flow, they're going to put a drift agent in the tank. It's going to cost about 10 to 12 bucks an acre. Or they're going to tweak. There's different chemistries you can do. We're going to put on more gallons, so we're putting on more volume, so the wind won't blow it. Or we're going to put on less, so we cover more acres. Because you've got 100 acres, we can only carry 80 acres in a tank, so we can cut back, so we put 50 gallons on, we put 10, so we can get it in one job, so we put less chemical, less product on it, so my actually poor control. So I mean, there's a lot of things you can change so they can make the schedule. They got young guys that don't have the experience, they're just going to run.
Okay.
So they don't care if they get fined for MPA comes out and sprayed it with because they find the operator, not the company. So you lose your license.
Oh, really?
Someone else put there.
Okay.
So the company might get some money or anything, don't know, but it goes on. You have to make the determination of doing the job. It's just like driving a car. You get in there, you're responsible for you. That's all you do. So you're responsible for it.
Okay.
That doesn't mean the difference. That's like in the morning, I try to get up early because that's when the wind isn't blowing. So I mean, the day he left, for example, that was a calm day. It was scrambling like hell to get out there because I had a full day and I had to go. And I knew the wind was going to pick up. So I had to get this done. So I got to go. If I can set for you.
Okay. And as far as chemicals go, for you owning and selling chemicals, is there a state license for that? Can you tell me about that?
Get your license from the state.
Okay. Is that governed by Laura or somebody else?
I think Florida and MBA.
Okay. And what sort of chemicals do you have on hand on the farm?
Oh, I couldn't tell you for sure without looking there further. Usually around the back. Normal herbicides.
Okay. Anything else?
Insecticides. I mean, what do you mean on?
I don't know, because I'm not a farmer. Oh, something you just tell me this stuff.
You're going to have Roundup.
Okay.
You're going to have atrazine or metallichlor, which is a chemical you put down that stays there for 30 days.
Mm.
You're going to have some kind of insecticide. That'll kill the bugs. You're going to have some surfactants to make it stick to the plant so it won't. Ammonium sulfate, which is dry, it softens the water to make it slipperier so the chemicals work better.
Okay.
As far as you're not going to have a lot of stuff sitting there. Like, I mean, this is the time of year that we can take an order, so we get a lot of stuff in the spring, so you have it there. But like now, there's nothing to do in the barn because you don't carry inventory that you need money on.
Right. You want to buy it when you need it.
Right.
Right. Okay. Okay. Do you have a question on that? I don't know. I'm moving to the weekend.
No, I think so.
Okay. Tell us what you remember, and I'm referring to the weekend that the weekend of April 24th and 25th, right? That weekend. So tell us what you remember from Saturday.
Saturday, I think, is the day that he called me all upset that she was done. We put tile the night before. I was going to buy it, and she brought it to the field. It was been Friday night, I think it was. She brought it to the field. We all went to tile and talked about what we were doing the next morning. We were trying to finish the tile for March. She was going to take Angel into the game. She wanted me to know if I was going to go. I said, no, I got to get this done. So I was there with the tile, and she's going to the game. And so she called and said, we're done. I was confused, and she didn't talk to me the rest of the day. I think that day, Saturday, that's the day I went down. Took the truck and went back and said, brought the truck back home. Spring or something for the other girls. That way when we're trying to check the cattle, that's an idea we can keep So, last night that she was talking about what she meant by done. And so I asked her what she wanted to do. She just wanted to stay and watch the kids or what she wanted to do. And that's when she started getting money. She got something for that time for her. She had the age. She got something. She said she got pizza, sons or something for breakfast. It was from staying at the Tacoma that day. So I got them up and had that to eat. outside. Over around, it's kind of on with JCB out. Pulled off the big trash out the building, on the sprayer out. Sprayed weed, I think sprayed weed at Leroy's first. Go back, they had to rinse out. Loaded up with herbicide form. It was burned out. Burned out nice. It was over around 240 over sulfate. I had it back last year. Yeah, sprayed the Brooks. Then from Brooks, I went to Brooklyn, John Townsend. I think that's what Stephanie called. That was in Brooklyn. I think it was Stephanie called me about where he was at. I was told why the second was called instead of the cow. She said the cow out there with the one. So you know, stuff, and I tried to call the cow, and they called it 3 or 4 times before she answered. And she said, "Go find out." And well, she's on the couch. I just left her. Find out. She says, "No, she's not here." I said, "Okay, I'll spray him, but I'm not home." Half an hour to come back. So that's when I, finish right with the sprayer, come back here at home. I think I closed the office. I didn't seem like I told him in the house. I went in the house. He wasn't there. She was in the house anywhere. I walked in the bedroom, looked around. That's when I noticed the bags in the bedroom. The vacant bags, no bathrooms. I said, "There's another bags ago." She says, "Next here, she's not there." I made sure she had to pick them up. She said, "No, the car's here." I said, "No, I'm here too." I said, "It's not good." No. And we got one in the bathroom, looked around, and she agreed with me. She said, "Well, Mom's hairspray's done." Off the counter. Hell, I don't know which hairspray she got, or Dell picked out. She took her hairspray. She didn't take Raquel's hairspray. So then, pulled out from to the office. Hindsight now, looking back, this is weirder than weird to me. Dee's been gone an hour to 2 hours, and the kids are here all in a panic, and she's left countless times. This is weird. And then Zach's in the office going through the security cameras, trying to figure out where's Mom's at. He wasn't going through the security cameras, he was leading shit off the cameras because he gave his mom no track.
If I can, I'm sorry, cutting off on anytime I usually information, but specifically to Saturday, can you describe the source of Dee's anger? What caused her to get upset that day? Can you talk to us about that?
I guess she got into it with Terry, one of our drivers, over something his girlfriend or his wife or his ex-wife or ex-wife had done. They said we argued and he quit. And then she got into an argument with Todd that day over dispatching or Terry or what else they were arguing. He just said he called her out and said, "I know what you've been doing. She's been taking this money and doing this." And she's been having something like
It's been told to us that you had informed the employees, however, that it happened, that she was taking Xanax and she didn't take kindly to that. Can you describe that to us? So we were told that you had informed, whether it was Todd or Carrie or both of them, that Dee was taking Xanax, and that was a source, a portion of her being upset that day. Okay. The way it was presented to us was, and I'm paraphrasing, Dale went behind her back and told the employee she's taking Xanax, and I believe her that she won't be able to know, essentially. Okay. So outside of the phone call you had with her at the soccer game, can you go back to that? What happened from that?
I didn't talk to her unless she didn't answer. I tried to call her several times, but she didn't answer her phone. Had a space, so we finished with a tile, and I can't remember asked Todd, I'm waiting. He said, yeah, he got into it. He didn't really say much. I called her out. She quit today.
What was your instinct then? Do you think this is going to resolve itself, or what did you think at the time? Is this spat kind of counting?
I figured, you know, I'm gonna have to go out and talk to Terry, go back to work on Monday, this is all told, you know.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna go in the house tonight, you know, I'm thinking this, I'm gonna go in the house tonight, I'm gonna get my ass chewed for something that I know nothing going down, I'm gonna get chewed out because I didn't stick up for her with the Terry argument. So I know we'll lose this battle already, even though she's 100% wrong, so I'm just thinking, if I can tell her she argued with Todd, I'm thinking, well, the last thing I need to do is have Todd quit too, because then we'll really be screwed. So I'm thinking, yeah, she's gonna argue, screaming out at me tomorrow. I'm gonna have to go talk to Terry. If we come back to work, same time, it's gonna be home with me tomorrow. That's Saturday, so Monday. I have to talk to him, go back, and get it figured out. We're going to week, should be gone for a couple of days, and she'll be back.
And at that time, thinking on Saturday, with how upset she was over this argument with her employees, essentially, commentary, what do you think her mindset was like?
I don't know anymore. It was just thinking.
Some of the statements you had made in the past were that you were concerned she was abusing her pills and that she may be depressed. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think she was depressed. I think she was, upset and depressed that she didn't know what she was doing because, you know, her best friend quit, and Todd's started to quit, so now what the hell's going to happen with the trucking company? She can't do it. That's why she was saying, we're done, we're done. Nothing else to do, I don't know. A lot of this shit was going on. So, I didn't call her getting cops input because, you know, there are people like that where it go.
Because it was a busy time of year in general.
This is time of year.
Okay.
April 25th is when I calendar pretty much every year I start planning corn on April 25th.
Okay. Barring weather or whatever. Yeah.
This is the day I start. Before this is too early. This is the day you start.
Okay. And she come home on Saturday, and what happens then?
I come home on Saturday. I said she's at the house. And I call my son. He's still spraying fertilizer. So I go in the house to see Dee, and she said, she's questioning me about, I asked her what's going on with Angelina. She says Angelina's the most in the house, and I'm like, why? It's like 8 o'clock at night. Why is she going to her now? Because Amy called, she's over. Okay, if I gotta go to town to do chores, check the cat out, see Angelina. No, Amy's going to get her. Okay. So I go over, times, check the cat out, feed him. Come back from the house, and it's like I've had Amy before she was coming. I can't remember if Amy was there when I left or when I came back. But Amy was there, she didn't say no, she's eventually left and went in the house. Tried talking to Dee, and she's all upset. I said, okay, I said, I won't talk about it. She says, we're all in the morning. I never told him this. Terry quit. Yeah, I heard Terry quit. Todd's upset with me. I said, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to stay home, take care of 4 of the kids. What do you want to do? At first she tried screaming, started to say, fuck, that's, I tried to sit down, talking to her, and then she got this. She says, you're using this kind of shit out of me. And I'm just trying not to say anything cynical because it would be worse. And, you know, this is all talking out, figure it out. She's talking to me, she's so mad about Terry, she's still want to tell me about Terry's girlfriend did this, she did that. It's weird. He says, no, you know, I came back and so I can't tell Terry her finger as she was doing this. Stop. I kind of opened up. When he so bright, she this is, are you feeling better? Yeah, I think all she knows is this. Your face was sadness. Her words were a little slurred. She said, I gotta take it away. It goes. So she went over to tell her, I threw her both of the hour. It's okay. When they said I was talking, she told me, says, you gotta drink something too, because you're getting dehydrated. That's why her head was problem. And she's like, no, and she's just crying. I just don't know what to do, and I don't know what to do. And I said, just, watch it with me. That's what we did. She just put her back to the place. We're supposed to get a little pressure on her head to make it feel a little better. Put her back and neck, and she said, we're getting better. She's talking a little bit. I thought things were getting better. Then we go to sleep. I got up in the morning. She's there. I just sneak out because, she lit up. She's hungry. Going to work.
You had previously described this as one of the worst arguments you had had. Can you describe that to us?
It was one of the worst arguments that we've had in a way that she's never said we're all done. I was confused when she's talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I get into it more, we're all done. A year and a half later, she knew she couldn't have the line anymore. The money that she took, the stuff they know, the big stuff, I know it's up and down.
Yeah.
She can't hide it.
You had previously stated that you gave her some medicine.
I never gave her medicine.
Okay. Any idea why you might have said that then?
Yeah, she always had her own medicine.
Okay. No idea why you might have been mistaken about a different day or something?
Maybe I wouldn't take medicine on for her at the pharmacy.
Okay, that specific day or another time?
I would have tried it another time.
Okay.
I did it for that day.
Okay. So I want to be clear, you did not physically give her any medicine? The medicine she took, she obtained herself from wherever?
Yeah.
Okay. And you only saw her take, you saw her take
I
one
didn't see
pill?
what she took.
Okay.
The living room's here, the medicine she's got in the counter, she went over to the guy and she's with us.
You're referring to the counter with the wood over it, kind of a dining room table?
The bar is off. It looks like the wine right here.
That, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
it. That covered
You and I
it.
stood together on the phone over there? Okay.
Yeah, that covered right there's where she got over the medicine. Her medicine was there, the rest of the medicine, like her aspirins and normal household stuff, was all over in the kitchen.
Okay.
Cabinet over there, she kept all hers separate over there, so. But I was over by the kitchen bar, to get, the food warmed up, and she thought to get a pill or whatever. She went over there, got something on the cupboard, took it, come back and sat down. She ate.
Okay. And then what time do you and her fall asleep?
I was thinking it was on the 12 o'clock, probably. I was thinking it's later, but about 12 o'clock.
Okay. Can you describe that?
Just, asleep.
Where? Sorry.
In the living room.
You, both of you?
Yeah.
Okay. Specifically where on
On the floor.
okay. Is that common?
Yeah.
Okay. How often do you sleep on the living room floor?
About every day.
Oh, really? Okay. Why is that?
We always did in our old house. We always just lay in front of the TV and watch TV and lay there with all the
Okay. And you slept there all night, each of you?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what time did you wake up?
It was about 6 o'clock.
And what's a normal morning for you? What do you, in great detail as you can talk, what do you do when you wake up?
I get up, I'll get my clothes on, usually brush my teeth, grab my watch, my phone, get dressed, take my blood pressure pill, take my pill in the morning, and head off.
Okay. Now that is in general, or that's what happened that Sunday morning?
I should know what happened at Bacon.
Okay.
Get up.
And how long does that process take you?
That morning, I think I had to go downstairs because that's right, usually nice. But the transplants, we did it all. You've seen the transplants downstairs? Yeah. You guys went there.
With the transplant, sorry.
We started vegetables.
Yeah.
Trays, so
Okay.
it's trays downstairs, and I think the day before, I usually nice put receipts, and I think I went down that morning, I had to water. So I ran downstairs, put water in the transplants, I went downstairs twice. Team water down, water the transplants, all that kind of stuff, what goes on. I went,
Okay. So I want to start you really slow. So you wake up, you're on the floor, and what's the first thing you do?
separated that corner, so we're talking about. Back with, went out, the back door, got in the Kubota, the gator. Usually I make a circle around the back of the farm, and I'll do it as I go out, and then look at the grass. If there's not to do with the grass, I'll drive, I'll sit it out, hands all back. I do different stuff in the paint. It's dry, and it goes some different additives in it. Something like that, get the sprayer started, come back, chase me out of the barn. If I have to move the lunch order back in the house, grab it out, walk in, take it with me. And well, start loading up the sprayer.
Do you typically shower in the morning? No? You shower in the evening, I presume?
Usually learn to go to bed.
Okay. So, I want to make sure I'm clear. You wake up, take a blood pressure pill, grab your clothes in the get a glass of water, grab your clothes in the garage, come into the bedroom, maybe the bathroom, brush your teeth, get ready to get dressed.
I get dressed up in the kitchen.
Okay, get dressed and we're just in the house, clearly irrelevant. And then you grab your phone or your watch, and then do you eat breakfast in the morning, or you're ready to leave? Okay, so specifically on that Sunday morning, what happens from that? You're dressed, you take your blood pressure pill, you have your phone or your watch, what do you do next? Which I know you have a bunch of doors down here. Which door is common for you? Okay. Okay.
Usually I try to go up to the garage
Okay.
or the laundry room. And just wherever I park the Kubota, where I gotta get the dogs for singing, go to the grass, I gotta grab two cans of dog food. Or if I don't have dog food, I gotta go out to the shop and get it.
Okay. And I apologize. So you leave out through whatever door, or first thing you do?
First thing I'll do is I'll go right now, let the dogs out, then I'll get in the Kubota. That day I have to hedge over on me and see if there's any dew on it. Well, start the sprayer up, and check the oil stuff on it. Then hopefully I remember to take my fucking list, because I don't, if I don't, I'm going to take the list. I'll work at the spray, see what chemistry I put in.
Okay.
So that day I had to finish the week from Drewyor's and on my list.
And how many acres of Levi's? How many did you spray?
I have to look in the book to sure, but I think it was only 10. It took me more time to get out and down.
Okay. How long is 10 acres on the cake? Yeah. Okay.
Takes a longer than full. Took it there. Leroy's is down there, I took the weed, come back. It seemed like I had a flusher, but so I gotta go down about 3 times with water, pull it back on the road, spray it to the road, rinse the book out 3 times, come back in. Look and see if I got any chemistry, then I'll take the blower to the JCB. Come over, the front buildings where we keep the chemicals in the market. I keep some back right low, but all the small stuff, it's little jugs or little things we keep up by the office, so if somebody shows up to buy some, we just want the girls who live in the market, just get a truck outside the house and walk.
Okay.
So I'll go there and get what I need from my jobs, but go back to the Kubota, drive back to the barn, walk this small little fit in the Kubota, I'll take the JCB up there and forklift, bring the whole pallet out. So that morning, I think I made 2 or 3 trips with the Kubota, get different jugs, because that just, that's all on my sheet right there, sheets.
Okay.
So my log sheets, I mean, if you ask me what time I went to Leroy's, I mean, go get my sheet, and tell us what time I loaded the barn, what time I got to Leroy's, and when I'm back, because I'm loading the next one up, I write down the gallons, and everything in the tank, in the water. That's, like in the sprayer, I write down the sprayer when I leave the field, I try to write down, the acres in it, whose name it is. So there's, I'm trying to double up so I don't miss it.
Right.
So then I got those 2.
Okay. So you walk into the house, you go to feed the dogs, and what's the next thing you do? And you get a talk city thing. When you say Kubota, what are you referring to?
That's a little, what would you call it, a little ATV.
Okay. Like a side-by-side with a cargo area?
Yeah.
Okay. And where is that normally parked?
It's usually parked out by the dogs, right behind the garage.
Okay. And you
Depends
get
on where it's, use it at night.
and you get that, and where do you go from there?
That morning, I would drove around last spring, we drove around the boundary of the farm. And I stick my hand out, the grass is up, so through the grass, see if there's a dew on it or what it is.
Okay, and then what?
Then I go into the sprayer. I started checking it out, started when I was warming up a bit there.
Okay,
That's now on the list. I've got low.
okay, and what happened from there?
Went to Drewyor's, sprayed that. Back, and it was out. And again, went to the roads, sprayed that.
Okay,
And then I loaded it up. I loaded it hard into that. Then also I had sprayed it for me.
okay. And can you describe to us what you do with the JCB network?
I would have pulled up, that was, pulled it out of the barn, pulled it around by the house. Oh, I think it was just for trash that day. And, well, no, I had to put the forks in when I pulled that back. There was a pallet that I had to move from home, so it was the barn.
Okay,
Usually, it was the bucket, dump it here, dump jugs, so all that trash goes in the bucket.
okay. You said you pulled it up to the house, can you describe that to us?
I think I pulled up behind the house. I think I had to run and grab my damn sheet, my load sheet. I don't remember for sure. I know I took the loader around and tried to spray was started. I know I got the JCB the loader, pulled around by the house. And I run in, I had to grab something out of the house. And I run back out, got the loader, back out. Went around, put the forks on it.
And what did you see in the house when you had to run back in there?
Just, still sleeping.
Okay, still asleep. And at this point, it seems like a silly question. Was anyone else on the property or in the house? Okay. And
It's still got about 6:30.
that was my next question. How long had it been? Okay.
It's about 6:30 now. To that point, maybe close to 6:37. You got time running around, moving, and start to spray her up. You know, it's running, being kind of loud. We're able to load her, pull out there, paddle, forks.
Okay. Good then. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to help me just because I don't talk farm talk. When you say you leave the house, you go and just show me, I think I know, show me where the dogs are.
Up here.
Okay. And then you jump in the Kubota?
Well, you just have one here by the house.
Okay.
Jump in and back there, pull down this way. Usually right around through here, to the grass.
I was going to ask which field you're referring to.
That was the one around through here, to the grass.
Okay. Okay.
See how wet it is.
Okay. And is that common for the farmers to check the grass each morning, or that's just part of what you do, so you know what you gotta do? Okay, okay. And then where was the sprayer parked? That where? Okay. And you started and leave it there while you're loading everything else up, you said those up air, is that so wiggle air and spray?
Well, suspension goes up those areas.
Which you started, okay. And where was the JCB parked?
JCB to the side one here.
Okay. And you said you pulled up to the house, can you show me?
Pull out here, pull around this way, pull up over here. Grab one of the house, go back down, back down.
Okay, you want to make some notes on here with these other things? She said this is the Kubota.
Yeah.
Could you just draw next to the Kubota house? You got a better pen there, Might work. Where's the on all fronts here for me?
Maybe it's the paper, this is paper state.
There we go. And then, where is the, if you can mark the sprayer, is it out on the paper, that mark? Okay. And where is the JCB part? And then could you just draw next on there for me, to make sure I understand. Different people call the buildings different things, so I don't want to make sure. Okay. What do they call the dry bar? What's that?
This is the track bar.
Oh, okay. And then there's a wet bar? Does that make sense?
Little bar over here.
That's, see, that's what I mean. It's different people also. Okay. Okay. And then you pull onto the GCB and you show where you parked it behind the house.
Now pull up here.
Okay. Can you mark that for me?
Pull up here.
Okay. And then where do you go from there?
Where do I go from here?
Yeah.
Back down around here. So I'm barn. Here. So I'm up here.
Okay. And how many minutes do you think from when you were in the house to when you got over here and left in the sprayer, how many minutes is that, if you have to guess, that Sunday morning?
Before I left with the sprayer.
Correct.
Go ahead.
If you have to guess, do you think is this an hour-long process? Is this
half an hour, 45 minutes.
Okay.
And
And
I'm trying to remember if I had to rinse before I loaded the weed spray out, or if I rinsed. I don't remember, so I'll look at my book, but I didn't share that time, there's no way I have my book.
now would be no. So,
See, because I keep that book in there on the shelf, so if I spray atrazine, say, with it yesterday, now I'm going out there and I got sprayed weed, I'll look at that book, I had atrazine here, oh fuck, I cannot spray weed with atrazine.
I see.
So now I'm going to rinse out, so I got to rinse
Those
out.
are the papers that you gave me.
Yeah,
We were out there one day.
yeah. They would have ran on the Hummer.
And that was
Do you guys know his nickname is now? Hummer. Oh, really?
I mean, without looking at the book, I can't tell you if I had to come out and rinse. If I had to rinse, it'd be an hour. If I didn't rinse out, if I looked at half an hour, 45 minutes, I might get all the chemicals. The sprayer's in here, JCB's here, I come up here, got some stuff out of the building in front here, took back, measured it out, because it's an ounce, so it's a little lot house again. Measured the shit out, right? Put the sprayer, and then we pulled out.
Okay.
I mean, it should be on the camera, too, so the camera, and I pulled the bar, will show you pulling it out of the sprayer.
Okay, and specifically with the JCB, I think that's the most question I have to ask that's out there. So the Justice for Geek crew, at the time, I think the adult children perhaps Parker had seen the JCB tracks, and that's why they had asked your wife to pull over the houses. Is that accurate?
They didn't ask me.
Oh,
You
that's
say that they asked me?
correct.
They didn't ask me.
Okay. Okay, that was understanding, because the JCB tracks were where the Hummer was parked. Is that news to you?
It was parked out front.
Yeah, so,
Then I pulled the Hummer back around behind the house later that day, and I pulled it up next to the grass where I was parking.
right. So when they had seen the Hummer, you already moved back to the house, and the JCB tracks were underneath it.
Oh, probably.
Okay.
Probably.
And that's from when you pull up to the house?
Yeah.
Okay. And the JCB?
Yeah, the JCB, I pulled up there. The Hummer was out front, I never leave anything out front, because I don't want something mess, because they leave the keys and everything.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I jumped the Hummer, pulled back around the house, and I pulled it over next to the grass and parked it.
In the normal spot, essentially?
Well, normal spot's the garage, but we've been parking it outside because I think she had something else in the garage with her caddy, or she parked in the middle of her caddy. So I just pulled it over next to the grass, was out of the way, because the rest of the area there is where the rest of it's parked. You know, where mine pick upstairs, here, or whoever pulls in, that's where they park.
Okay. So you had got the JCB, pulled back into the house, because you forgot your sheet or something, and you get back in and you go back to the barn to load the sprayer. And when you're in the house, she's sleeping. Right, okay. So how did the Hummer get from behind the house to the office?
In that morning,
Yeah.
that was there when I came back. That's where Kel was sleeping out front.
Okay. Where was it when you left?
When I left, it was on my house. I think there was a Hummer, I don't remember.
Okay.
Seeing the Hummer, I mean, it's a lot, I don't
Okay.
remember. But I do remember driving it from in front of the office and parking it back on the house, because we never leave anything on my roof.
Okay. So it was behind the house when you left?
I don't remember. No.
Okay.
Well, I guess easier when you left to go to Brooks or whatever. I wasn't parked in front of it.
I don't remember seeing it up there. I don't.
Okay.
I mean, I don't remember sitting up there. I was almost think I didn't look that way. I mean, I can tell you where the piece of our machine is. I can't tell you where the Hummer's at. It's just not something that I'm paying attention to.
Okay. So then you get in the sprayer, you go into Leroy's, and you spray, you said, how many acres at a time?
I think it was 10.
10 acres?
I mean, you can look at the book like that.
Okay. And you come back, and then what happens?
I think I had to flush out the windows in that spray can. I jumped to the Kubota again and pulled out front, or I had nothing, I don't remember if I had the chemistry in the barn or not.
Okay.
I loaded up, if I had rinse out
who's there when you get home?
The kids were there.
The kids meeting, I'm sorry.
And Zach, Cal. Zach, Cal, and Dustin. He was there.
Okay. And you said they're in the office, and what are they doing?
They're going through the computers.
Okay.
Which I was dumbfounded that they even had the codes to get into it.
Yeah. And when you access the cameras, what were you looking for?
I never accessed it, you know. I didn't have the code to get into it.
Yeah, when you did access the cameras, what were you looking for? I know it's a silly question, but
I was looking to see, you know, what was going on at home for everything. I didn't look at anything other than what Zach was there because they had the lockdown. I couldn't get into it.
okay. Well, there's actually no doubt you accessed the cameras that morning. I'm just asking what you were looking for. It's a silly. We're trying to move the sheriff's department, so we just need you to explain everything as silly as it sounds, you know.
They were looking to see what cars went by that were good, you know.
Okay, and that's what you did when you accessed them?
I didn't access it. Zach already had it on the screen.
Dale, we promised to be honest with each other.
I did look.
Just listen, there's actually no doubt you access the cameras. If you were just looking for your wife, then just say you're just looking for your wife. I don't
I was
understand.
looking for my wife, but I didn't access the shit. Security cameras that morning.
You have access to them on your phone, correct?
Yes, if it'll work, it would not work.
Okay, so when you tried to access the cameras, what were you doing?
I was looking to see who was in the office, if he was on the cameras.
Okay, so you're just looking for the, that's all I'm trying to get.
Yeah,
Yeah,
looking for
okay.
you know, see where she's at, but I already figured she's at Zach's house, but.
Okay. And that's specifically from your phone, that's what you're trying to do, right? Okay, and is that, I think it's called Milestone? Milestone? Is that an app you typically have problems with? I'm not familiar with it. Is it?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Okay. What are you supposed to be able to do from the app?
We're supposed to be able to see the cameras and see what's going on in the cameras.
Okay. And how often would you try to use it?
I haven't tried to look at it, not at all. I'll look every day, once a week or something, I look at it.
And what percentage of the time do you think it works?
5-10%.
Not too good of a track
No,
record.
I mean, if you're in the office and you want to look at the camera system when you're in the office, it'll work. If you're in the house, it'll work. If you're anywhere else, it don't work.
Okay.
Because you got internet access, I guess. But with your phone, you shouldn't have to, and it don't work.
And do you have any other issue with your phone, or is it through with that app, do you think? It's the application itself?
I don't know. Your phone's always have a glitch on it. A lot of stuff don't work.
But by and large, it's this application gives you issues. Okay. Do you pretty much carry your phone with you at all times?
Most of the time.
Okay. Specifically that Sunday, you had your phone with you all day?
I'm pretty sure that was the only.
Okay.
The only time you know is if you drop it somewhere or backtrack and try to find it.
Yeah, you and me both. And that Sunday, do you remember about what time Stephanie called you and asked where he was?
I was thinking it was around 9 o'clock, 9:30.
Okay. And until that point, as far as you knew, she was at home, right? Okay.
I think I texted her, telling her how spring, so that she could know where they.
Okay. But until then, things are normal. You don't know any different, right? Essentially. Okay. And then, what were you doing? Okay. Why did you access the Cadillac that morning? What did you go to the Cadillac for in the garage?
This is the camera.
You accessed the Cadillac. You've been in your life. You've done that. I'm not
There's
sure.
something in it, I had to get out of the car.
I'm not sure.
If I opened the door, I got it out. I didn't. She's got the key.
I'm not saying you drove it. I'm just saying you accessed it for some reason. Don't recall why.
Access it, but I got it in me.
I
I was looking at it on my app on my phone.
I'm not certain what you did physically with the vehicle, but you had access to the car.
No, because I probably looked at my phone to see where it was at.
Okay.
That would be accessing it.
Okay. I'm not familiar with what you can do with that.
And the non-star, I mean, I sit down and start looking at my phone, it tells you Car's there.
Okay, so you would have accessed that app and it tells you where the car is, and that's why you would have done it to see where she was.
Yeah, see my car's, if the car's almost, well, she can go.
Okay. And what about when you tried to locate her iPhone? For what purpose was that?
See what she did.
Same thing.
Everybody was trying to find her on iPhone.
Okay. Okay. And it had been described to us that when things weren't comfortable with the interview, she didn't like you knowing where she was. Did she know you had access to those things at the time?
So,
Was that ever a point of contention in recent times? We know overall there have been disagreements about that. What about leading up to this incident? Okay.
if she were out there, but she could access my phone.
Okay.
It's kind of safety, if I don't, she can't get a hold of me, she can find my phone, see if I'm at her, you know, what she do, send her, find her.
Okay. Do you have any more questions about Sunday? Okay.
All right, so during the course of that interview, you had the defendant draw on something. What was that?
It was a aerial view, a satellite image of the Munger farm.
I'm going to hand you People's Exhibit 124, and we are going to, okay, we're going to switch it out on the iPad. I'm going to have you get it out, though. Exhibit 124. And is that the exhibit I've handed you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what was the point of that exercise?
The intention of reviewing this with Mr. Warner was to have him specifically mark where he parked the front end loader on 425, the morning of 425.
Okay. If I recall correctly, you had him draw 4 different X's on this map. Do you recall what the other X's were for?
Yes, there's one X in the very top right-hand corner that was to get the pen to work. There is one X directly north of the house where he indicated that he parked the front end loader. The other 2 X's...
Hold on, I'm going to have you stop. So you said directly north of the house?
So in the image, you can see a white car
Yes.
north of the house. There is an X to the right of that.
Okay.
That is where he indicated that he parked the front end loader.
Okay. And do you recall what the other 2 X's are?
The other 2 X's are, I asked him miscellaneous questions about where he picked up the side-by-side from and where the front end loader was initially parked.
Okay. And why are you asking these questions?
The other 2 questions, honestly, were more of a decoy. The only thing I really wanted to know was where he parked that front end loader that morning.
And so at this point in time, had you reviewed some of the stuff but not all of the discovery in the case or the evidence that had been gathered so far?
I had reviewed probably in the high 90% of everything, if not everything in its entirety.
Okay, so why do you care where the JCB was parked that morning?
It was observed, there were tire tracks observed from the front end loader. And when asked about it, Mr. Warner later explained that he returned to the house in the front end loader.
Okay.
Where this X is marked and where those tracks were is also where the Hummer is typically parked and where it was parked that day. His statements were that D must have moved the Hummer to the office, but he states when he returns to the house in the front end loader and parks in this spot, that she's inside sleeping. So then it begs the question of, these two objects cannot be in the same place at the same time, which means the Hummer must have already have been moved when he pulled up to the house.
Okay. And you asked about a number, 3 other items. So first you asked about the, I believe the milestone.
Yes.
What was that?
Milestone is the application used to access the surveillance cameras on the Munger property.
Okay. And Find My iPhone, what's that?
Find My iPhone is an application. If you're granted permission between different Apple products, you can look at their geographic location on a map.
And the My Cadillac app, what's that?
That is another application offered by General Motors and or OnStar, in which you can do a variety of things, including looking up the geographic location of a vehicle.
Why are you asking these questions?
All of those applications were accessed by Mr. Warner that morning, and they were all done prior to when he states that she realizes she's missing.
Prior to when he realizes she's missing?
He's very consistent in that the first time he knows that she's missing is when he receives a phone call at approximately 10:30. However, he accessed all of these applications, in his words, to find her well before he knows that she's missing.
Okay. So after you do this interview, you kind of continue this investigation for a couple years, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And again, we're going to get into the rest of the details of that investigation at a later point in time. I want to focus right now on August 16th of 2024. What happened on that day?
On August 16th of 24, I executed a search warrant to look for anhydrous ammonia tanks at a property on Paragon Road.
Okay. Were there 2 properties that were searched for anhydrous tanks?
Yes, there was also property searched on Carson, just north of Munger, a kitty corner from the Munger property.
Okay. I'm going to show you a handful of exhibits, sir. First, Exhibit 90. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
Okay, where's that location?
That is at the barn I searched on Paragon Road.
Okay, and was this photograph taken August 16th, 24?
Yes.
Exhibit 91. What's this?
This is at the same location. This photo was also taken on that date.
Okay. 92.
The same thing, ma'am, on Paragon Road, also taken on that date.
Okay. 93.
This is outside of that barn, the same location, also taken on that date.
Exhibit 94.
The same, ma'am.
Exhibit 95.
The same.
Same date and location?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Exhibit 96.
Same date and location, ma'am.
Okay. Exhibit 97.
Same date and location, just outside of the barn.
Okay. Exhibit 98.
Same date and location inside of that barn.
Exhibit 99.
Same date and location on the outside of the barn.
Okay. Exhibit 100. Okay. What's this?
This is inside of a separate portion of the barn, taken on that same date at that same location on Paragon Road.
Did you make observations on this tank?
Yes, initially it stood out because all of the other tanks were outside and or in the open portion of the barns by one another. However, this tank was by itself in this area.
Okay. Did you make any other observations?
Yes. On the in this image, what would be the back or the left-hand side of the tank, there was a non-factory weld visible from the outside.
Okay. Exhibit 105, I'm going to have you look at that. Is that one of the welds you were just discussing?
Yes, this is that back end of the tank. Obviously, this is the top of the picture is the top end of the tank.
All right. Exhibit 73. Is this another portion of the well that you observed?
Yeah, so this would be the bottom of the tank, and or if you're going from top to bottom, a continuation going downward from the previous photo.
Okay. I'm going to show you Exhibit 101. What's this?
This was a handwritten note that was wire tied to the valve on top of the tank.
Okay. When you say the tank, are you referring to tank 34 that was in Exhibit 100 that you just detailed?
The previous photos, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I'm going to hand you Exhibit 102. You still have the scissors?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know that we need it open until the jury wants to see it. Okay, what is Exhibit 102?
This is that tag that's pictured in this image.
Okay, is there a writing on both sides of that tag?
Yes.
Okay. Exhibit 103. What's this?
This is the same tag as a previous image, just depicting the writing on the other side of it.
All right. Exhibit 104.
This is just an overview of that portion of the tank. You can see that tag on the right-hand side.
Okay. And again, all of these photographs were taken on August 16th, 2024?
Yes.
Okay. After you made those observations, what did you do with that tank?
I contacted a tow truck company, and I escorted it to the Ambassador Bridge for an x-ray.
I'm going to have you look at Exhibit 106. And is that the image you received from the Ambassador Bridge?
That's correct.
Again, this was on that same date that you observed the other tanks, 8/16/2024?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Based on this x-ray, what did you do next?
I escorted the tank to the Michigan State Police Crime Lab in Northville for some preliminary evidence collection. From there, it was escorted to the Monroe Post for secured storage until we could make arrangements to open it the next day.
Okay. Did you, in fact, open it the next day?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to have you look at Exhibit 107. What's that?
That is that same, actually, that is the opposite end of the tank that I observed the non-factory weld on. We cut basically a window into the tank so we could take some images and gather some an idea of what was inside of it before we continued cutting it open.
Okay. And this was on August 17th, 2024?
Yes.
All right. What did you observe when you placed that camera inside there?
With the light that I'm holding, you can see inside of the tank that there was something wrapped inside of a blue tarp.
Okay. I'm going to show you Exhibit 108. Is that what you observed in there?
Yes, ma'am.
Once you made that observation, what did you do?
Once we gathered some videos and photos of it, we then continued opening the tank, essentially almost like a cigar cut, removing that end that we made that pilot hole on.
Okay. And then what?
Once it was open, we were able to remove the object that was wrapped inside of the blue tarp.
Okay. And what was the object inside the tarp?
It was human remains.
What did you do with the human remains?
The remains were escorted to the medical examiner's office to have an autopsy performed.
Do you know if there were any chemicals inside that tank?
Yes.
All right. Describe to me if you can estimate an amount of chemicals in there.
Laying along the bottom of the tank, there may have been a ½ inch to an inch of what smelled like ammonia.
What about the tank? What was done with the tank?
From there, the tank was escorted to more long-term storage until it could be evaluated at another date.
Okay. Was that tank processed?
Yes.
All right. Was it processed on the 17th or a different day?
It was processed by lab personnel on the 16th and 17th.
Okay. At this time, Your Honor, I would be tendering Detective Drewyor to Ms. Charday with the understanding that I am calling him back to actually get into the details of the investigation at a later point.
All right, Ms. Shardy.
Thank you. Detective Lieutenant Drewyor, my understanding is you are going to be coming back to the stand and testifying next week? Is that accurate?
I don't
That's
know.
your understanding
Yes.
as well? Okay,
I don't know for the
great.
question. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah, sure. I should have a question mark at the end. Is it your understanding, having just heard Ms. Wise, that you are going to be testifying next week as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to save my questions for next week. I don't want to bifurcate them. Okay, thank you, sir.
Can I ask counsel to approach briefly? Okay, so I've had a brief discussion with counsel at the bench. It's my understanding that both sides are in agreement with holding off on any questions from the jurors until Detective Drewyor has been back to finish his testimony. Is that accurate?
That's correct, Your Honor.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, Detective Drewyor, you can step down.
Should take these exhibits, Judge.
You can take those with you, yes. All right, so at this point, we will take a recess. I think there's some technology we need to set up in the courtroom for the next witness, so we will do that, and we'll bring the jury back in when we're ready to proceed. Anything we need to address outside the presence of the jury at this point?
Yes, Your Honor. The court previously ruled on a motion for a protective order regarding the autopsy photos. I would ask to amend the order. We want to be able to show the jury the autopsy photos while Dr. Cho testifies. However, we do not want those photographs to be publicized, recorded, or any photographs live streamed, nothing. So we would ask for a protective order over that.
Okay, Ms. Chartier.
We're in agreement with that, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. The court is permitted by MCR 2.302C, which applies to criminal cases, through MCR 600.001D to issue protective orders to prevent annoyance, embarrassment, or oppression based on my prior review of the photographs that are the subject of the people's motion. The court finds that unauthorized proliferation of these images would constitute a significant and irreparable injury to the victim's family based on the nature of those photographs. So I am going to grant that protective order. The decision, I believe, is further grounded in the court's inherent supervisory power over its own records and files to prevent them from becoming a vehicle for improper purposes, as was recognized by the Supreme Court in Nixon versus Warner. I am mindful that this is not a FOIA proceeding. The dignitary privacy interest of survivors has been recognized in National Archives and Records Administration versus Favish, another United States Supreme Court case, which established a compelling interest that the court must weigh against the public's right of access. Again, although that court involved analysis under the Freedom of Information Act, the interest identified by the Supreme Court in that case remains a compelling factor in this case. That interest is further reflected in the public policy of the state of Michigan as codified by the legislature in MCL 333.2855A, which restricts the public display of autopsy photographs except under limited and controlled circumstances. To balance these interests and pursuant to the court's authority under MCR 8.115 to manage the courtroom and conduct and recording, at this point I am going to order that while the autopsy photographs are available for public viewing as presented in open court, that the physical or digital copying, scanning, or reproduction of these exhibits by any member of the media or any member of the public is prohibited. No person shall use any camera, recording device, or any device of any kind to capture these images while they are being displayed in the courtroom. I don't believe this order is a prior restraint on reporting, as the media remains free to describe evidence and testimony in detail. I think this is narrowly tailored on the reproduction and distribution of sensitive judicial records, which are intended to protect the privacy of the survivors while maintaining the transparency of these criminal proceedings. So that will be the court's order with respect to the autopsy photographs. Anything else we need to address at this point?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
No, thank you.
Okay. We'll take, well, I'm not quite sure how long this break will be because we'll need to set up the screens for the jury.
Thank you.